Hello, beautiful family. This is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days. Wishing peace and love in your hearts. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your trust, honoring your path, your faces, your hearts. I've just arrived from 4 days of retreat, of ceremony with the grandmothers of the Americas. So I was united with 13 grandmothers all the way from the very north of the continent near Canada and Antarctica, to grandmothers from the Patagonia, with 600 women praying. So we were receiving their voices, their wisdom, their transmission, and it was absolutely beautiful, quite intense and overwhelming as well. Sharing this prayer with over 600 women, we were praying for peace, praying for life, praying for humanity, and receiving also the legacy of these brave, ferocious, and sweet women that are calling us into remembrance and to walking our thoughts with integrity, into dreaming again the world, giving shape to this new time through love of life. And we, in between, singing and drumming and ceremony and hugs and laughter and tears, these were soul encounters that I have barely words to describe what just happened. I'm still integrating because it was a lot. What I feel is immense gratitude for the privilege and a pretty big commitment as well to do something beautiful out of this privilege, to expand the prayer and the seeds that I was given and to nurture them so that light may flourish. So saying that, let's remember where we are at in this our great story, the story the sky tells and the story that we give back to the sky, presenting our true hearts and our true faces and walking in beauty. So we went through that very powerful full moon in Tauro. Venus entered Scorpio, and Urano just yesterday re-entered Tauro again for the last time, like adding himself to this invitation of the comeback, no, the going back in order to digest, to integrate, to harvest as well, and to say goodbye. At the same time, we have today, 9th of November, Mercury starting its retrograde movement until the 29th and finally coming out of shadow by the 15th of December. So, patience with this. He's pretty much stationary all through next week. If we fight this flow, we will battle with it. If we still ourselves, we find stillness within ourselves and we give ourselves the time to recover our energy, to feel, to rethink, to look with new eyes, and then have the shift of perspective that allows the miracle of understanding, of forgiveness, of renewal, of the sense and purpose that we are giving our walk in life, our walk in earth, then it might be a blessing and a beautiful process. It's okay to be in a place of uncertainty or just not knowing everything, not understanding everything. We are sort of tying loose ends by the last part of this year. And so I'll tell you what happens this week and I'll elaborate on it. So on the 11th, we have Jupiter in Cancer, also stationing retrograde on the 25th degree of this school of family, of women, of security, emotional security. He will stay retrograde until I think it's the 10th of March in this reflective energy. Then, of course, we have Mercury retrograde. Mercury and Mars are working together quite near, and they're going to have another conjunction. But this time it's happening on Sagittarius. That's on the 12th, but it's pretty much there for the whole week. And throughout the week, we continue swimming in these waters because we have this grand trine of water that right now is being activated precisely by Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and the Sun in Scorpio. Just be aware we're going to have this trine next week with Mercury going back into Scorpio, also retrograde. So just feel it like it's a retrograde great trine of water that is really creating an emotional tide that pulls us back into a remembering, a healing, an alchemical process. So I would say we're sort of in memory lane right now. in this journey towards memory that can be a journey that can, yeah, well, surface a lot of emotion, maybe nostalgia, also gratitude, I could say. It's a reminiscence, I think it's the word. And when we do this as with an awareness, then it may allow us to order and renew the storytelling of our lives, resignify, free ourselves. And it's a beauty because that's the intent of this energy. It's an intent of healing, of alchemical or emotional alchemy, of transmutation. I mean, the sun is in Scorpio, speaking to Pisces, speaking to Cancer. So if we go, I guess we will go through our personal memory with the intent of healing, but we can even go deeper and further into a retrieval of original ancestral memory, the memory of origin, that will allow us to feel more complete in the experience of today, in the present time, that fully reminds us of who we are. And this is a journey that will require elaboration and patience, a lot of compassion as well, because of, you know, the intensity of the emotional experience. So if you are there, I invite you to go through this with tenderness, with sweetness, with compassion and gentleness, so we can have a beautiful journey in time and also harvest the pearls of wisdom. It is not for us to stay stuck in the drama or to just like create these remolinos in our own pain. It is not for us to abstract ourselves from the present time. It is through presence that we can do this beautiful purification to become whole, to become, or to remember that we are whole, integrated, holy beings, and healthy as well. So if you need accompaniment in order to do this, please go ahead and ask for it, because we are all medicine for each other. There isn't a more beautiful thing than the medicine of connection. Okay, so the great Jupiter in the school of the mothers, in the school of home, in the school of family, in the school of caring for life. So for me, since Jupiter arrived into Cancer, I've had this sensation that the invitation is to transcend this very tribal understanding of family, I guess, that creates more and more separation through our surnames, through our nationalities, through our religions, and so on. It's an invitation to widen, to expand, because that's Jupiter. It's the expansion of the belonging to a greater family. That yes, it is all of humanity, but it is also all of creation, and to feel again at ease and peace in home, within the experience in earth, in our home Gaia, and also our home the universe. No, and it is from this being related to everything that we can restore the love, the trust, and the caring for life. I have also been feeling very deeply this matrilineal subject of remembering that we are all binded by the mother, by Divine Mother, and that coming back to Divine Mother is coming back into this womb space where we can regestate ourselves, heal, revitalize the intent of our souls, aligned with the calling of this new time. I've been saying this, that it feels like a very pregnant time to me. And it's hard for me not to mention the importance of remembering the mysticism of feminine energy and its spiritual wisdom, because it is through this energy that we can feel, we can truly intuit with our whole body what is needed in order for life to continue. This we can experience as male or women, or however you identify yourself. This is this energy within that requires listening, requires stillness, requires silence, requires pauses, so we can feel the pulse of life and what is needed then. Of course, this is important if we have done the part of our own self-care and listening to what we need. If our generosity is genuine, I mean, it's coming from this inner abundance and not from the temptation of control and manipulation that is also a shadow side of water. So listen to yourself. What do you need? Nurture yourself. And when you do this for everyone, in truth. So as I said, we will go through our own story, but this is really transcending our own story because we are giving birth to a new era. And therefore, let your prayer be for yourself, for the people you love, but always include everyone. Okay, retrograde, Jupiter retrograde. Look, he is a planet of expansion, a planet of growth. It tends to go towards, no, going outside, like crossing borderlines. Think of this as any other retrograde planet, that instead of going to the outside, it starts going towards the within. So it's about, we ought to, I guess the invitation is to stop looking for this growth outside, looking for these answers or this expansion outside. It's more of an inner communion. It's I expand from my center. It's I grow from, I mature from within. It is I do an inquiry of the memory in my cells, in my medulla. And it is from there that I purify my waters, my blood. And then this will burst into the outside. Believe me, 2026 is very much towards the outside. So to me, again, the subject of rest becomes important. The cyclicity that is taught by Cancer, that is ruled by the moon, asks us to honor the time of coming within, of the emptiness, of the dream space, and of rest. So now the contrast is Mercury starts its retrograde energy in Sagittarius. For the first part of the journey, he will go back into a Scorpio, as I said. But first from Sagittarius, which is a philosophical school, it's very natural that we're going to be pondering in these big existential questions, because having space for doubt, having space for curiosity actually keeps truth healthy. Because then we don't lean towards dogma or doctrine or even absolute truths. And this is precisely a renewal of purpose. And the process requires a revision of beliefs. No, we are disarticulating beliefs. So if you read it with Jupiter, that is the ruler of Sagittarius, we are dismantling family or lineage beliefs, loyalties, like ties that are binding us and limiting the displaying of our wings, no? And we can do this labor with deep, deep gratitude and love. And the full contrast is that actually Mars is also there in Sagittarius this week. So this is a very impulsive fire. And this is not the ideal moment to start something new. Because, the energy that I'm describing. And also remember, because everything is going to go back with Mercury a couple times through these spaces. So we need to mature this impulse to reconsider perhaps something that might feel urgent right now. Because what could happen is that Mercury and Mars together in Sagittarius, we say and do without a filter, with quite an amount of impulsivity and enthusiasm, I would say. But Mercury is retrograde and it's stationary. And that's when things get a little complicated. And we could regret what we say or what we do right now, or what we agree to, for example. So just keep an eye on that. It's not about doing anything or not saying things, but it is about having the capacity to breathe through it, at least, and to just walk our lives with a lot of attention, awareness, with presence. Because Mars is movement, Mercury rules, moving from one place to another. And you get me, I guess, no? Let's just let's pace ourselves. That's what I mean. And then coming back to Urano, that just started, he's going back into Tauro right now. We can also take this time to integrate the last 7 or 8 years, of change, because there has been a lot of change in the Tauro area of your life, an area that longs for security and consistency. And perhaps you can also use this time to celebrate that you are here and to root yourself deeper into what is sacred, what are your values, to connect to nature, to your body, and to trust. Because yes, I think probably Urano also has a few more shakes before he goes, but we have also grown a lot here. We have better resources, or are better attuned to our resources in order to navigate his energy. His energy is always about revolution or re-evolution, right? So with this retro energy, perhaps you're having a sensation of deja vu, like going over some processes, maybe emotional, maybe actually quite circumstantial. Just understand it is not exactly that you are repeating. It's more like, I mean, we see this in the world in terms of politics and a lot of things that seem to be a comeback of things that we we thought maybe we were over with. These are echoes. No, they are not the reality. These are echoes. They are not here to anchor themselves in this new reality and be a repetition, but they are here in order for us to transcend them, whether it is personal or collective. Now, if you are in this sort of deja vu of going over experiences, understand that you have more capacity to hold love and compassion for yourself and for the world, so we can transcend. This is a big, big combination of our lives, of our souls, really. And so just there is a very strong need to just allow and to sort of sit with it, just sit with it, breathe through it, allow it. And the processing, it's actually, I mean, I don't know if the word is fast, but it is quite accelerated if we allow it. Okay, I think we could be intentional with taking breaks, with resting, with regenerating in, as possible as it is for you. But I insist in this because, and not because there is a lack of intensity or change. It is precisely because of it. And because we are heading into 2026 and it looks pretty accelerated and intense since the beginning. So I would say we could take the truth, no? And just, order with beauty the inside, the outside, and really take advantage of this moment. I think we are connecting, and through this connection to the past and the faith in the present, we can create a future full of authenticity and love. So that's what I have for this week, beloved family. Wishing peace in your hearts, peace in your minds, and trust in divine guidance. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Blessings. Tlazokamati.